Simply put, she is one of the greats. And tomorrow night, there's a rare opportunity to experience the mountain of talent that is Chita Rivera. The legendary actress, singer, and dancer presents a benefit performance of her show, My Broadway, at the city's Shubert Theatre. Here's a quick preview.
Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz.
Hers are many of the most iconic roles, moments, and songs in all of musical theater. What becomes a legend most? That's easy. Simply watch Chita Rivera.
I don't pop my cork for every guy I see. Hey, big spender.
A dancer turned actress, Rivera has defined many of Broadway's greatest characters in its most celebrated shows. Anita in West Side Story. She starred with Dick Van Dyke in the original Bye Bye Birdie, created Velma Kelly in Chicago, and the divinely lethal Aurora in Kiss of the Spider-Woman.
Sooner or later you're certain to meet in the bedroom, the parlor, or even the street. There's no place on earth you're likely to miss her kiss.
Rivera could hardly be more celebrated. She's won 2 Tonys, a Kennedy Center honor, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And tomorrow night at the Shubert, the role is her own. The show is My Broadway, the Broadway Rivera helped build.
Oh, that's nice.
And Chita Rivera is here. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. So, it's nice to see you again.
Like we were just looking at, the last time I spoke to you was 5 years ago today. This is our anniversary. So this time you get to create your own show. It's My Broadway. So you're telling your own stories. You're doing everything you want to do.
Well, that's not exactly true. In that, what I do, I love doing. But when I was here with you, A Dancer's Life was a large show. There was dancing, and there were lots and lots of stories, and it was 2 hours. This is a very intimate show. This is with 6 musicians and just myself. So it's very intimate, and I don't do a lot of dancing. Of course, I have to move because there's nothing I can do about that. They'd have to, screw my feet into the ground. But I enjoy this show, and I love to be kind of an example to kids. And most of all, the reason why I'm doing it is for my great friend, Jeanette Neal, from Boston Youth Moves. She has an amazing school, and she is training the future of dance, here in Boston. And I've been all across the country, and there are so many teachers that don't teach technique the way it really should be taught.
And I remember you telling me before, because you started as a dancer, you started in ballet.
Oh, I'm a dancer.
And so does that really inform everything that you do? Does that then inform the acting and the
Absolutely. And I'm so happy that you understand that, because it affects every part of your life. It focuses you. It makes you aware of other people. It makes you aware of what you are, and you're learning all the time about who you are, a way to express yourself. And we all need that in order to get along. But the technique is very rigid, very hard. And it's like building a house. The foundation has got to be strong. And Jeanette's school is Boston Youth Moves. It gives those kids that. There's ballet, there's jazz, and when I see Swelligans, when I've come up, because they've honored Anne Reinking and Mitzi Gaynor and Tommy Toon and myself, it's elegant, and the kids have a taste of showing the audience what they can do and what they've learned. And she also, and her partners, have also allowed the kids to be a part of the entire evening, so that they get a chance to dress up and enjoy,
Right, because
something more than
as
just...
we've covered so much here, the arts are so important because they round out who you are aside from the academics. I want to ask you, looking at some of the roles that the major roles that you've created, and how do you look at those now? Because they were yours, so do you look at, are they rented out to other actors now? I mean, how do you look at it when somebody else...
I never thought of it that way, but that's a good way to think of it. I think I'll say that. Yes, I rented it out to it. You know, everybody that does a part in a play brings their own self. And that's what's wonderful about different people doing different roles. What I love about the blessing that I've had was that I was allowed to breathe the first breath of life into certain characters. And that is a wonderful thing. And I came around at a great time, and I talk about that during the show. I just hope I'm an example to these kids that want this as a profession and know that they can have it if they care about it, they're passionate, they want to work hard, and they can last as long as they like. Well,
that's one of the things I wonder
they're ready
as well, because show business is so difficult, and no matter what level of success you have, there are going to be the peaks and the valleys.
Absolutely.
Were there ever times that you wanted to walk away from it?
Well, I did to have my daughter, Lisa, but then I quickly went to London to do West Side. But no, not really, not really. I still had something to say. I still had something to translate through dance or the book or whatever. No, I must say that something always came up that fascinated me and excited me. And that's what I want the kids to have, to be able to work with all of these different choreographers and directors and librettists and composers so that they can find out also who they are. It's a wonderful road if you want it and you stick with it and you have the right foundation, which is so important. Technique.
What about another thing that they'll have to deal with, which is, and you have talked about this, and I recently interviewed Alex Katz, who has a show at the MFA about insecurities and fear. And I look at you and I think, what would she have to fear? She's won everything there is to win, and Alex Katz, he inspired Warhol, and yet he said he still finds it.
Oh my
Why?
gosh, because that old expression, I'll never forget me seeing it for the first time. This is the first day of the rest of your life. It's true. And it should be true, because this is the moment, you know, the moment you're living in is the most important moment. So we can't waste that moment. You miss so much by letting those moments go by. And I am so blessed to have the things that have been given to me, you know, the acknowledgments that have been given to me. I'm very grateful. But sometimes I think it's another person. You know, and sometimes I wish that it did give me more courage. But what gives me the courage, I think, is to be able to communicate through composers, choreographers, through the theater, and through my cast members, the words and the dance and the music. That gives me, when I get lost in that world, it's nice. And I love the Shubert. I've been able to play the Shubert many times, and it's like an old friend welcoming me back, you know.
Well, as I've said, I've seen
for a good cause.
Yeah, for a very good cause. I've been to that studio. They do great things, and you do fantastic things on stage. You're such a pleasure to watch, and thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I'll see you in 5 years.
All right. It's a date.
Maybe sooner.
Chita Rivera, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Jared. And that's it for Greater Boston. Tomorrow night, it's Beat the Press, the Greed Beat. Why reporting on issues about the wealthy is a rich vein to mine. And tomorrow on my radio show, we recap the issues in the news this weekend, give a thumbs up, thumbs down to paying $120 million for the Scream. That and more tomorrow. I'm Emily Rooney. Good night.